The golden era of Hollywood, spanning the 1920s to the 1960s, produced numerous iconic stars. While many were celebrated for their talent and beauty, some were also labeled as dumb due to their public personas or perceived lack of intellectual depth. Here's a look at 19 celebrities from that era who were often considered the dumbest by public opinion. Jane Mansfield, often labeled Hollywood's smartest dumb blonde, was a paradox in the golden age of cinema. While she played into the stereotype of the curvy, giggly blonde bombshell, Mansfield was anything but unintelligent. With an IQ reportedly around 163, she was a classically trained musician, fluent in 5 languages, and attended several universities, including the University of Texas and UCLA. However, in the 1950s and 1960s, women, especially those with sex appeal, were often typecast and underestimated. Mansfield leaned into the dumb blonde image to gain fame, using her looks and outrageous publicity stunts to become a household name. This strategy brought her success but also made it difficult for the public and industry insiders to take her seriously. Sadly, her intelligence was overshadowed by her public persona, and many dismissed her as nothing more than a shallow starlet. Despite this, Mansfield left behind a legacy of sharp wit, savvy self-promotion, and hidden depth that challenges how we define intelligence and celebrity. Her daughter, actress Mariska Hargitay, continues her legacy today. Jean Harlo, famously dubbed the blonde bombshell, was one of the most iconic stars of Hollywood's golden era. Rising to fame in the 1930s, she captivated audiences with her striking looks, breathy voice, and seductive on-screen presence. Often cast as a naive or flirtatious woman, Harlo became a symbol of the dumb blonde stereotype, a role that brought her widespread fame but also pigeonholed her talents. Off-screen, she maintained a playful, carefree persona that reinforced this image, leading many to underestimate her intelligence and acting ability. However, those who knew her personally described her as witty, warm, and sharp. She had a natural talent for comedy and timing. Particularly in films like Dinner at 8 and Bombshell, where she showed remarkable self-awareness. Unfortunately, Hollywood of the time rarely rewarded complexity in female characters, especially those who relied on sex appeal. Harlo died tragically young at age 26, but her legacy lives on as a groundbreaking actress who helped define an era, even if her full depth was never fully recognized during her short lifetime. Madge Bellamy was a popular silent film actress in the 1920s, known for her beauty, charm, and early success in Hollywood. She starred in films like Lorna Doone and The Iron Horse, earning praise for her screen presence and romantic roles. However, her career began to decline in the 1930s, partly due to her volatile personality and impulsive decisions. Bellamy was known for being difficult on set, turning down roles she deemed unworthy, including the lead in Ben-Hur, which could have revived her career. Her refusal to adapt to the changing landscape of talkies and her clashes with studio executives earned her a reputation as uncooperative and unreliable. Nicknamed Miss Firecracker, Bellamy's fiery temper and poor choices contributed to her being viewed as immature and unintelligent. A later scandal involving a love affair and a gunshot at a wealthy lover further tarnished her image. Though talented and once beloved by audiences, Bellamy's impulsive behavior overshadowed her abilities, and she faded from stardom. Today, she's remembered as a cautionary tale of early fame and its fragile foundations. Katharine Hepburn was one of Hollywood's most celebrated actresses, known for her fierce independence and distinctive personality. Despite winning 4 Academy Awards for Best Actress, she faced criticism early in her career for her unconventional behavior and fashion choices, which often defied the glamorous norms of the time. Hepburn preferred wearing trousers instead of dresses, challenged traditional female roles in films, and spoke with a distinctive New England accent, setting her apart from her contemporaries. These traits earned her the nickname Catherine of Arrogance among some critics and industry insiders who saw her as difficult or haughty. However, Hepburn's confidence and refusal to conform made her a trailblazer for women both on and off screen. Her sharp intellect and determination helped her carve out a lasting legacy, influencing generations of actors. While some initially misjudged her as arrogant or aloof, Hepburn's talent, professionalism, and unique style ultimately won her widespread respect and admiration. She remains an iconic figure in film history for breaking stereotypes and staying true to herself. Marlene Dietrich was one of Hollywood's most glamorous and enigmatic stars during the Golden Era. Known for her striking beauty, deep voice, and signature sultry style, she became a symbol of sophistication and mystery. However, Dietrich was often perceived as aloof and distant, which led some to label her as unintellectual or cold. This reputation was partly due to her carefully crafted public persona that emphasized elegance and detachment. In reality, Dietrich was highly intelligent and cultured, fluent in several languages including German, English, French, and Spanish, and well-read in literature and politics. She was also politically active, famously supporting the Allied forces during World War II by entertaining troops and working against the Nazi regime. Her sophistication extended beyond her films, revealing a sharp mind and strong convictions. Despite public misconceptions, Marlene Dietrich's legacy is one of depth, resilience, and artistry, proving that her allure was much more than just surface glamour. Mae West was a groundbreaking figure in Hollywood's golden era, famous for her sharp wit, bold humor, and unapologetic sexuality. She became a cultural icon by pushing boundaries with her risque one-liners and double entendres, which made her both loved and controversial. However, this provocative style sometimes led audiences and critics to underestimate her intelligence. Many saw her as merely a sultry sex symbol, overlooking the cleverness behind her comedy and the savvy ways she navigated a male-dominated industry. West was not only a talented actress but also a skilled writer who penned many of her own plays and screenplays, proving her creative control over her career. Her humor was often a sharp social commentary, cleverly disguised in playful banter. Despite censorship attempts and moral outrage, Mae West remained confident and defiant, using humor to challenge societal norms. Today, she is remembered not just for her provocative image but as a pioneering woman whose intelligence and talent helped shape modern comedy and film. Carole Lombard was one of Hollywood's brightest comedic stars during the Golden Era, known for her sparkling screen presence and infectious energy. Often cast as the charming, scatterbrained blonde, her roles played heavily into the dumb blonde stereotype popular at the time. However, Lombard's off-screen personality was quite the opposite. She was widely recognized for her sharp wit, intelligence, and quick humor, which made her beloved among colleagues and friends. Lombard had a natural talent for comedy, effortlessly delivering rapid-fire dialogue and physical humor with great timing. Her ability to blend charm and humor helped redefine female roles in screwball comedies like My Man Godfrey and To Be or Not to Be. Tragically, her life was cut short in a plane crash in 1942 at the age of 33, just as her career was peaking. Despite being typecast on screen, Lombard's legacy endures as a talented, intelligent actress who broke through stereotypes with wit, warmth, and undeniable charisma. Zwag Pittz was a beloved actress known for her distinctive portrayals of timid, nervous, and sometimes scatterbrained characters during Hollywood's golden era. Because she often played these roles, many audiences mistakenly assumed she lacked intelligence in real life. However, this perception couldn't be further from the truth. Pittz was a highly skilled comedic actress with impeccable timing and versatility, which allowed her to bring depth and humor to characters that might otherwise seem one-dimensional. She began her career in silent films and smoothly transitioned into talkies, showcasing her ability to adapt to changing film styles. Beyond comedy, she could handle drama with equal skill, proving her range as a performer. Pitts's unique voice and mannerisms became her trademark, making her instantly recognizable and beloved by fans. Despite being typecast as the nervous woman, Zwag Pittz was a clever and talented actress who understood how to use her roles to entertain and connect with audiences. Her lasting impact is a testament to her skill, not her perceived lack of intelligence. Plet Goddard was a glamorous and talented actress of Hollywood's golden era, known for her striking looks and charismatic screen presence. She gained fame in the 1930s and 1940s with memorable roles in films like Modern Times alongside Charlie Chaplin and The Great Dictator. Despite her undeniable talent and successful career, Goddard's intellect was often underestimated. This was partly due to her glamorous image and the high-profile personal life she led, including her marriage to Chaplin, which brought her intense media scrutiny. The press frequently focused on her beauty and social life rather than her skills or intelligence. However, those who knew Goddard spoke of her sharp mind and quick wit. She was a savvy businesswoman who managed her career with care, choosing roles that showcased her versatility. Unfortunately, the stereotype of glamorous actresses as shallow sometimes overshadowed her professional achievements. Plet Goddard's legacy is a reminder that intellect and talent often coexist with beauty, even when public perception doesn't always reflect it. And Sheridan, nicknamed the Oomph Girl, rose to fame in the 1930s and 1940s as a sultry screen siren with a sharp sense of humor and a commanding presence. Her nickname, coined by a Warner Brothers publicist, referred to her sex appeal, and while it made her a household name, it also led to her being typecast in glamorous, seductive roles. As a result, many audiences and critics focused more on her looks than her acting abilities, unfairly dismissing her as just another pretty face. In reality, Sheridan was known for her wit, professionalism, and intelligence. She often brought depth and a no-nonsense attitude to her roles, standing out in both comedies and dramas. Off-screen, she was outspoken and down-to-earth, earning respect from colleagues for her authenticity and strong work ethic. Despite the limitations imposed by her image, she built a successful career and left a lasting impression on Hollywood. And Sheridan's legacy reminds us that beauty and brains can coexist, and that public perception often overlooks the full depth of a performer's talent. Lana Turner was one of the most glamorous and talked about stars of Hollywood's golden era, known for her beauty, dramatic screen presence, and a string of high-profile romances. She rose to fame in the late 1930s and became a major box office draw throughout the 1940s and 1950s, starring in hits like The Postman Always Rings Twice and Imitation of Life. However, her personal life, marked by scandals, failed marriages, and a notorious 1958 murder case involving her daughter and abusive lover Johnny Stompanato, often eclipsed her professional accomplishments. This intense media focus led many to view Turner as a shallow starlet caught up in Hollywood excess, reinforcing the stereotype of the glamorous but unintelligent actress. In truth, Turner was a dedicated performer who worked hard to perfect her craft, transitioning from ingenue to dramatic lead with skill and resilience. Despite the public's perception, she maintained a long and successful career in a competitive industry. Lana Turner's legacy reflects the challenges many women faced in being taken seriously, particularly when their beauty became both a blessing and a burden. Veronica Lake was a major Hollywood star in the 1940s, best known for her peekaboo hairstyle and cool, mysterious screen presence. Her iconic look became a trend among women during World War II and helped catapult her to fame in films like Sullivan's Travels and This Gun for Hire. However, her sultry appearance and reserved demeanor led to misconceptions about her intelligence. Many in the industry saw her as aloof or difficult, and some critics dismissed her as just another glamorous starlet with little depth. In truth, Lake was intelligent and insightful but struggled with personal and professional challenges, including mental health issues and alcoholism. Her career began to decline in the late 1940s as she became increasingly typecast and fell out of favor with studios. Despite this, she made a brief comeback in the 1960s and even published an autobiography, revealing a sharp, self-aware voice that contradicted the dumb blonde label. Veronica Lake's story is one of early fame, misjudgment, and quiet resilience, proof that public image rarely tells the whole truth about a person's character or capabilities. Binny Barnes was a British-born actress who carved out a successful career in both British and American films during the 1930s and 1940s. Known for playing strong, stylish, and often sophisticated women, Barnes brought elegance and wit to her roles in films like The Private Life of Henry VIII and In Old California. However, despite her commanding on-screen presence, Barnes was sometimes misunderstood off-screen. Her lively personality, sharp tongue, and refusal to conform to Hollywood's expectations of demure femininity led some to label her as brash or lacking refinement. These assumptions contributed to an unfair perception that she lacked intellect. In truth, Barnes was confident, clever, and fully aware of the image she projected. She navigated the studio system with independence, taking roles that suited her and avoiding being typecast as a traditional leading lady. Married for over 4 decades and active in Hollywood social circles, she maintained a stable personal life, rare for the era. Binny Barnes's legacy is that of a bold and intelligent woman who played by her own rules, even if the public didn't always understand the depth behind her glamour.